Da-da! So I'm actually broadcasting from with a different camera, and I've been MIA for a while. Yes, I've gone through a few things, and now I'm back and I'm trying on with this camera, which I'm waiting to get my regular camera set up. So while I was, this whole thing started to give the background to those of you who are not part of my course. You probably wouldn't know what was happening behind the scene, but it started a couple of weeks ago where I got a little bit sick and I lost my voice. I couldn't speak much. And everything happens for a reason, because when you can't speak, it just makes you a lot more aware and a lot more open to listen and to hear things that you may not have heard if you were talking at the same time. So I basically heard a lot of different things that brought thoughts to me, that made me think, that got me some downloads, as we call them, which I will share with you guys in the upcoming weeks. Um, uh, yeah. And then after that, I had a family emergency, and I think that also was a great opportunity, because during that time it was a very stressful time. Hopefully, it was nothing too serious, even though this family member was at the hospital. But I think the great opportunity behind that was that I had a whole bunch of friends riled up. I got connected with people that I haven't spoken to for a while, that just happened to call me during that time. And so I always look at crisis as opportunity to focus on different things, opportunity to reset certain things, and opportunity to reevaluate. And those couple of weeks really helped me um, get a sense of who's really behind, who really has my back, that I didn't quite notice before, because he brought to the forefront a lot of friends that I haven't spoken with for a while. And so eventually, now everything is back to more normal. So I'm still taking some time off. I don't think I'm gonna be as intensely on YouTube as I used to before, because I want to dive into so many different projects, and I need also my time. I need some time out, but I'm definitely going to be uploading and sharing a whole bunch of stuff. So I haven't been in the comment section as I used to be, but I went through and I actually looked at all the questions, and some of them will be answered in the upcoming videos, just because it just happened that people asked questions on things I was preparing to talk about. So you will see that answered. For this particular video, I wanted to talk about being your own prophet. So basically, through my consultations and through my own observation and through my own experiences, I've noticed that we are able um, to attract things and to manifest things into our lives. And I think that's why people are so excited about manifestation and bringing things to yourself and all different things. But I think at the same time, it people don't tend to be aware of what it truly means when you are saying things, using your words to say things that you do not want, or things that you may want at that particular moment, but who are not conducive for you, and that you may want to change later on. So I think this is really, really important. Um, I've mentioned in other videos that my grandmother always stated that no matter how angry you are, you always have to weight your words, because they can have an impact. They can have an impact on whatever entities that are working with you or protecting you, your ancestors and things like that. They may not take it lightly. You may be joking about something and they take it to heart. You may be really sad about something and they actually go into action. So you have to be very careful on how you voice your emotions, and how the words that you choose, and the things that you want to express. And I say this because I've seen it time and time and time again in consultation with people who will say, "Oh, I think I'm cursed," or "I think there's something over me. I think somebody did something to me." And oftentimes, when we go back to the younger years, go back to the younger when they were younger adults, or teenagers, or even children, what we can find sometimes is that they over overexpressed certain things that they wanted for themselves. They overexpressed with a lot of emotion, with a lot of passion, with sometimes a lot of repetition, things that they wished for themselves. And then they grew up seeing those things actually manifest. So sometimes it's not about someone else out there trying to get you or trying to put negative things over you. Sometimes you did this to yourself and you have to undo it. Sometimes it is things that you said out of anger or because you were in a particular situation and you wanted to get out of it. You know, you may say to yourself that you never want to get married. And when you're a child, because maybe you've seen your parents were abusive or you've seen couples around you that were really negative, you had maybe experienced those situations that were highly negative, and you started having this conversation with yourself, convincing yourself that you didn't want to have a marriage, you didn't want to have a relationship, period. You didn't want to experience that. So your solution to that problem was not to have a relationship. And what happened as you grow, you realize that those are situations to are individuals, and there are billions of other people out there that can love you, that can cherish you, that can treat you just the way you deserve and just the way you want to. And you start to have a change of heart. The issue now is that you accumulated so much negative energy around that you kind of stagnating at that point, that you kind of started this mechanism that is attracting this situation around you where you are not able to find a mate, where you are not able to see the qualities that you would like in somebody, no matter who it is around you. So it is not someone else doing this to you. It's kind of like what your own energy has done and produced over the years to you yourself. And the main energy that you put into that every single time you have thought about it, every single time you have voiced it and worded it and share it with other people. Now you have to undo that yourself, and it may take a lot of energy, it may take a lot of dedication for you to undo that. And some people, sometimes it takes a lifetime to undo it because of the time that they've spent building that wall up. So you are your own prophet. The things that you want for yourself, even as a child. I've stated this before in one of my videos where I was talking about I was 4 years old when I told my dad that I was going to become a lawyer. Okay, and since then I've affirmed and reaffirmed this, and yes, and I've become a lawyer, so I've achieved that. So and I don't think I will cease to be one. It's just that I'm shifting the other things that I can do and putting into energy into the other things that I am capable of doing and that are of interest to me and that are nourishing me and that are helping me expand and express the being that I am. And so when you say something negative about yourself, when you build up that story since you were a child, the story where you don't get married because you don't want to have to leave a negative relationship, that you don't let people come close to you because you are afraid of leaving or of reliving the relationship that you've seen, that you've observed around you, that kind of negative energy builds up. And that's the shadow that's behind you, not someone else, not your friend, not someone that you walk through, not even though those people may tell you that they're angry about you, or people may tell you different things. Sometimes it doesn't come from the outside, it actually comes from the inside. This is why it's so important to do inner work, to do introspection, to go through the path of the seventh chakra is I think an easy roadmap to get you started. I think I made a video on root chakra work, which is like the bottom line to start, where you can get started in terms of looking at those issues, in terms of clearing them and facing them, also facing what happened, also because you have to understand and you have to process where this thought came from, what led you to to engage yourself in that, to take an oath sometime to this negative story or this negative prophecy that you created for yourself. So sometimes you have to go back, you have to go all the way back to the roots, all the way back to the moment where it happened. And I know it's really scary to do that. And I know some of you can do that on your own once you figure out, oh, this is what it is about. You're going back there, you're reassessing that, but detached. because now you're an adult. Now you can look at that and see those are two people who are adults whose relationships are not working. It doesn't have anything to do with you. And you can look at it from the detached standpoint. Now, for those of you who can't, then you can book a consultation with me. We can talk about it and we can work that out. But this is to say, when you are voicing what you want for yourself, when you are voicing your story, when you're sharing your story with somebody, that story always has to lead to a place where you want to be. Okay, so it's not unlike many people who will say don't talk about the bad things happening to you because you're calling them out, you're shrugging them out, you're giving them, you're blowing them up. No, I say you can talk about the bad things happening to you. There is some it is a form of therapy to let that go, to express that. However, the end of the conversation doesn't have to start, should not stop there. The end of your story, or the later part of the story that you're telling, has to start, that has to lead to where you want to go, where you want to be, where you want to see yourself. That's the second part of it. It's not just about venting. It's also talking about what you're going to do about it, what steps you're going to take to address that, to get yourself where you want to go. So that's extremely, extremely important. You have so much tremendous power that you don't even realize. When you keep talking bad about yourself, when you keep talking down to yourself or about yourself, those things are going to manifest because of the power of your words. It has nothing to do with being a psychic. It has nothing to do with having some supreme thing. We all have that ability. We all have moments where we said something and notice, sometimes years later that it actually happens. The same way when you say, okay, I'm going to college, I'm going to graduate from college, and you actually graduate from that. Or, I'm going to break up, I don't like this relationship, I'm going to break up, I'm not going to be with this person anymore, and you actually do that. Those are small glimpses of prophetic things that to help you understand that you have this ability not to change everything, not to profess everything and anything, but there are certain things that you have the power to decide what you want to do about it, how you want to experience it, where you want to go, how do you want to look at yourself, how do you want to talk about yourself. And you should use that wisely. And I think it also takes a lot of courage because you're going to have to stop blaming other people that are around you. You're going to have to also look for, when was that moment that I professed this? And for many of the consultations that I've had where I've seen this pattern, it often started at childhood. It often started as one of those events that was traumatic or that was very highly negative, and then the child goes into saying, "This is not going to happen to me. I don't want this to happen to me later on." And the tactic is going to the extreme oftentimes to saying, because I'm seeing all of those dysfunctional relationships around me, I'm choosing not to be in a relationship. Or I'm choosing to abuse other people before they abuse me. I'm just choosing to take from other people before they can take from me, which is also dysfunctional. And so it has to have at some point where you go back and you say, when did I profess that the first time? And sometimes it is difficult to go back there, and sometimes you have to do baby steps before you can get to face that. But I think if you engage in that path of trying to identify where it comes from, then it will be much easier for you to change that prophecy. It will be much easier for you to create and replace that prophecy with something that's actually going to serve you, that's something that's actually going to enable you to be yourself and to enjoy your experience here, to enjoy this journey. So just remember that you are your own prophet. You can determine the things that you want for yourself, and you can write your own story. You can profess your own story when you are aware of the power of your words, when you are aware of the power of your mind, because it is your mind where you place those words, you place those thoughts. So be considerate of the power that you have. Engage with it. Take responsibility for it. And use it wisely. Thank you for having been